Next presentation is on the acute toxicity patterns in the adaptive high precision radiotherapy for head and neck cancer, which is a prospective.
But you are still with the old slides. Balbir, you are still with the old slides.
Excuse me, ma'am.
If there is any problem, organizers can share the slides.
Yeah, you can share.
Yes, sir.
Sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, start.
So the second presentation is on acute toxicity patterns in adaptive high precision radiotherapy for head and neck cancer, which is a prospective randomized controlled trial. Next. So the background, as we know, adaptive radiation therapy takes into account the changes in the target volume and organs at risk during the course of vaccinated radiation therapy. This adaptive radiation therapy has a potential to provide improved loco-regional control and reduce the toxicity and improve the quality of life. Unfortunately, there is no randomized data which is published on till date on the acute adaptive radiation therapy. The objective of this study to study the clinical impact of the adaptive and the non-adaptive plan on the acute toxicity quality of the patterns, to identify the clinical and dosimetrical triggers for adaptive replanning for head and neck cancer patients undergoing precision radiotherapy using the volumetric arc therapy, and the imaging guidance using the cumulative dose which is delivered to the tumor and the OR for the adaptive along with the non-adaptive treatment plans. Next. So in this study, this is a single institute prospective study of phase 2 randomized control trial. In this, certain assumptions was there to calculate the sample size, in which alpha error which is to be taken 5% and beta error for sample size is around 20%. For randomization, sample size of 100% was taken with 50% in each group for adaptive and non-adaptive patient treatment. This is a trial how head and neck cancer patient requiring radiotherapy for adaptive, and the flow charts give us the non-adaptive treatment. For the adaptive treatment, for every 2 weeks, they did the plan adaptations, and in the non-adaptive radiotherapy, no new treatment plan was given to the patient for the whole course of radiotherapy. In this, the different variables which were analyzed was gross tumor volume and the OAR, along with the OAR and the volume changes of the parotids, acute toxicity pattern as per the radiation therapy oncology group criteria. So in this arm, adaptive arm, so in the 3rd week, 5th week, 7th week, patients were assessed, and according to the changes, variation in the volume, they have contoured with the help of MIM Mastro 6.5 version software and replacement of Monaco version 5 and execution of the adaptive plan. But in case of non-adaptive plan, the patient was continue still treatment on the original plans. So the variable which were analyzed here, we have seen the bilateral parotid of volume change in the 3rd week, 5th and 7th week, and assess the toxicity criteria as per the R2SU group. And the quality of life is to be determined based on the European Organization for Research and Treatment for Cancer, and the quality of life questionnaire was given to assess the patients. Next. Eligibility criteria. All the patients which were planned to undergo curative intent radiotherapy with and without chemotherapy for treatment of primary squamous cell carcinoma, head and neck cancer, the patients were grouped between 25 to 85 years, and the Eastern Cooperative Oncology group commonly used in prognostic tools. It means it helps to determine the treatment of the patients. All the cases were histopathologically proven head and neck carcinoma, and the patients staged as per the American Joint Committee on Cancer Edition 7 from stage 1 to stage 4. Patients who had the daily calorie intake of at least 1500 kilocalorie, who were able to provide informed consent, were recruited in this study. The patient which were rejected from this study having the history of previous head and neck lesions and having the uncontrolled comorbidity histories of prior invasive malignancy. Next. Next slide, please. Next. Okay. So the pre-treatment planning. So for this, medical fitness of the patient was taken. For this, CBC, LFT, RFT, echocardiography are performed to assess the medical fitness for the patient, and imaging in both the arms underwent pre-treatment imaging in form of CT and MRI, and in mid-treatment also taken. For delineation, planning, delivery. Next slide. ICR 83 recommendation was used for target delineation, and Monte Carlo based algorithm was used for planning. Linear accelerator was used to give the both types of arm treatment, adaptive along with the non-adaptive. VMAT was used with the image guidance for treatment of patient, and adaptive replanning software which having the intensity based deformable registration algorithm was used. Next. The results means the demography of the patient. We can see here the different variables like the patients having the male, female, radical treatment, adjuvant along with the chemo. In both the arms in this study, the patient which were having the most type in the higher cancer rate was larynx, and in both the studies, larynx was the highest cancer, and having the 4A stage was 46%. So coming to the result, next slide. Coming to the result, the first result having the endpoint according to RTOZ criteria, that is mucositis. Here we can see in the graph the most significant advantage of adaptive replanning was seen in terms of reduced mucositis reaction in adaptive arm. None of the patient in adaptive arm having the more than grade 3 mucositis, where 26% of the patient developed it and on the 7th week of the treatment. You can see the P values here. Adaptive replanning at the 5th week of treatment provides the optimum reduction in high-risk treatment volume. This will reflect in form of improved toxicity. So next, for the second result, which is a dysphagia, difficulty in swallowing, in this we can compare with the help of adaptive, non-adaptive based on the grade 0, grade 1, grade 2 and grade 3 techniques. In this technique, we have found that in the week 5 and week 7, the adaptive treatment plans, the dysphagia toxicity is reduced in adaptive cases if we compare it with the help of non-adaptive. Occurrence of grade 0, grade 1, grade 2 in case of non-adaptive. It means in non-adaptive cases, higher the toxicity. Next. Based on the imaging, the results here we can see the volumetric changes in the parotid since starting of the treatment to the last day of the treatment. We can see here that there is a slightly variation in the volumetric changes of the parotid. It means if we due to the adaptive radiotherapy, we can reduce the dose to the parotids. Along with there is chances of less occurrence of the toxicity like xerostomia. Same, we can see the GTP regression starting from the simulation to the 6th week. So we can see here there is also variation in the tumors also. So parotid, as already discussed, there is a reduction in size. Next slide, please. Reduction in the size of parotid starts as early as 3rd week and continues throughout the course of treatment. It means adaptive treatment planning provides better sparing of parotid glands. The difference is significant in the 3rd and the 5th week of the treatment. Now, xerostomia, already I have discussed. Number of patients which having grade 2 xerostomia was less in adaptive arms and at the time of time points in our study, and the difference was significant with a P value which is a 0.006 at the 7th week. Next, the last slide. Based on the quality of life, as we have discussed earlier, quality of life was based on two features. One is for EORTC and second one is for quality of life questionnaire. In these results for the adaptive and non-adaptive for the EORTC quality of life and the quality of life questionnaire, it means the quality of life questionnaire head and neck 35 in the 7th week, which gives the significant results for the adaptive treatment planning in compared with the EORTC trial. To conclude this presentation, adaptive radiotherapy helps us to monitor the volume changes in the GTV as well as the bilateral parotids. It also facilitates change in the tumor OAR location in a high risk and low dose regions over the course of radiation treatment. The radiotherapy adaptive technique seems to be more advantageous when it is used for the patients which are undergoing radical radiotherapy, as the prescription dose is more in these patients. Maximum benefit of the adaptive radiotherapy is obtained when replanning is done at the institute of treatment. This is the first randomized controlled trial which is reported in the literature comparing the two arms in terms of dosimetric as well as the acute clinical toxicity patterns. Thank you.